Firstly, good morning, sir. Today we are honored to host you. He is known as a man who drastically changed the role of the BSc once he took over from 2023. And with his experience over the past 30-40 years with SBI, Bank of America, he transformed and gave Indian finance a new name. And I think all of us know him, so we do not need a really good introduction. So I think before to start, let's just jump in at the very beginning. So we are over here in between a lot of amazing students. We have to ask, when you were our age, did you have a financial goal in mind, a leadership goal in mind, or what was your thought was that?
Thank you. Let me make a brief introduction about myself to answer this question. As you would have seen from all the pamphlets that might have been circulated, my name is Sundararaman Ramamurthy. I was born in Chennai in a lower middle class South Indian Brahmin family. I grew up to do graduation in BSc Chemistry. I was a rank holder, and University of Madras, as it used to be called, offered me a full scholarship post-graduation in chemistry. I was very proud. I went with that letter to my dad. My dad looked at it as if it's some discarded newspaper of the past. And he said, "That's fine, but who will clothe you and feed you? They're only giving you fees, right? Who will clothe you and feed you?" I didn't have an answer. He said, "Better go and find a job." Why am I saying this? So if I were to tell you, I had a great dream, I thought one day I will become so and so, it will be an utter lie. The need of the hour was to find a job. In those days, we used to have what's called as Banking Service Recruitment Board. I had written an exam, I was waiting for the result. It's for a clerical job. I had learned typing, so I was very good in English typing. In those days, we used to have typing machines. It used to have a carriage moving. You need to again bring it back and then type. If you make a mistake, you cannot erase it. You have to use special erasers, white paint, and if there are too much of white paint, your boss will not like it. Blah, blah, blah. So till the time who's going to feed me and clothe me, till I get the result. So I joined a company, which is actually a factory, as an accounts clerk. What? BSc Chemistry and accounts clerk. So now you should understand two things. How adventurous I was and how poor the company was. If it could afford a good chartered accountant or a BCom as an accounts clerk, they would not have gone for a BSc Chemistry. I was there with them for around 3 to 4 months. But one thing was very clear to me. I should have hunger for knowledge and passion about whatever I do. In the 3 months, being a chemistry student, I learned everything about debit, credit, how it impacts the sub-ledgers, what is the general ledger, what's the trial balance, what is P&L, what is balance sheet, what is bank reconciliation, what is cash flow, how a single transaction can impact every one of them. Then I joined as clerk cum typist. To answer your question, at the time did I decide one day I'll become MD and CEO of a stock exchange? Honestly, no. I thought that I will pursue a career in finance. No. I joined banking. In 3 years, I completed my CAIIB, which is a course in those days. If you complete, you used to get increments. One increment for inter, two increments for final. So all the two I completed money. That's what I needed. I did the English typing, Hindi typing, Hindi short run. 3 Hindi courses I completed. Then what? 3 years all done, boring. Hunger for knowledge. That's why when I did a probationary officer's exam for State Bank of India, which in those days was considered as better than IAS. I didn't have money to prepare for IAS. So I had money for preparing for probationary officer's exam. So I became a probationary officer. And from there to IDBI, and from IDBI to NSE, 20 years in NSE, Bank of America 8.5 years, and now in BSc. So honestly, I didn't plan too much that I will have this type of career. Whatever came in the way, I took it wonderfully with ease, full of passion. That's the result.
So, sir, in your 20s, so then what are the things you work towards along your career path which led you over here?
What I worked towards in my career path which led me here, I told you initially itself, hunger for knowledge and passion for perfection. Typically, there is a dearth for people who are ready to lead. If you have a passion for perfection and a hunger for knowledge, you'll be able to lead anything. And once you start doing, you are in great demand. Wherever you go, people will say, no, I want this boy to work with me. They demand. That's what has one led to the other. In NSE, when I joined, it was basically build, operate, transfer for every department of NSE. And because of that, when I resigned from NSE, Bank of America lapped me up. 8.5 years, they were not ready to let me go. Once I rejected BSE's offer, second time they came and requested when I went and told my American boss, look, these people are approaching me, what should I do? He asked me only one question. If you want to join, what for it will be? I said, more a social cause. I don't want a 150-year-old exchange dying. I want to resurrect it. He said, please go ahead and join. I will help you. You want me to relieve you day before yesterday? I will relieve you. No gardening period for you. Anything you want. That's how I landed.
So, speaking when you joined NSE, as you just mentioned, the financial markets, the technological revolution, from there to now has come a long way. So, what are the key differences you saw that time versus this time?
A good question that you're asking. It was face-to-face, ring-based trading. With select few people entering into the ring to trade. If you come to BSE, I'll show you the ring that we still maintain there. We have it. We use it for a convention hall. 2 hours of trading. Few brokers permitted inside. Very few investors. No foreign participants. Only equities. Trade will happen. When it will settle, nobody knows. So we used to jocularly call it as T plus any time if at all it happens. Because you don't know when it will happen. No risk management. Basically, if I have to put a single statement for it, it was a market for private wealth creation. That is past. No technology, nothing. In the hall, there used to be almost this much of paper. People would have discarded a lot of small papers. They used to call it as, there were a lot of Gujarati and Marwadi names. Company, Chitta, whatever you call it, will all be there. What is today? No paper, technology, democratization of access to the market. I'm told many of you have Grow Zero, the apps in your mobiles. Anybody can access. Democratization of access to information. In those days, somebody will give you a tip that this is what has happening in the company. Today, nobody should give a tip and you should not take because you are not some servers of food. Democratization of access. absolute risk management, full certainty of settlement, T+1, more participants, crores and crores of investors, 1,500 brokers across the country. There is not one pin code which is not covered by stock market, multiple products, longer hours. What is the market standing for today? Capital formation of country. From private wealth creation to public good is the transformation.
So after the National Stock Exchange, as you said, the second time you accepted the offer for social change. And then when you took over the Bombay Stock Exchange, what were some of the key aspects or operations you wanted to work for during the transformation?
You are a managing director. It is the most lowest possible post that you have. You don't have any company there. Whatever goes right, you have to give credit to your employees. Whatever goes wrong, it is your problem. So you have no choice of telling that this I will do, this I will not do. But I can have priorities. I can have priorities as to what problem I will fix first. Fine? Will there be only problems? Honestly, yes. Because all good things will be taken credit for by somebody. All problems will be escalated to you for resolution. You are the managing director. Resolve it. So, in such a situation, if you are joining a company which is 150-year-old, which has been making losses in 7 out of 10 years, the average age of employees is 50 plus. Most of the CXOs, I'm sure you understand the term CXOs, are either mentally retired or physically retired or retiring. 350 vacancies unfulfilled. 150-year market but zero position in derivatives, which in itself is 25-year-old market in India. From a market share of 100% in equities, 15 years before even it was 30%, reduced to 5% market share. A good technology backbone but no peripheral system, no technology asset. Where is the light at which end of the tunnel? If you have to survive and you have to make a difference, what you want to do? You want to make a difference. You have to find out what is that role you can play which nobody else has played till now. Correct? You have to find a gap which you can fulfill. That was the priority. Find a gap which was not fulfilled until now by anybody. And can you fulfill it? Then you have a reason to exist. When you have a reason to exist, all the problems which I stated go away. People get motivated. You recruit a lot of people. You make money so that you attract more talent. But what is that gap? Which are the areas in which you should search for a gap? Honestly, if you look at the survival of NSE in 1992, NSE identified a gap. That is, stock exchanges are meant only for brokers. So it is not available for others. Oh, that's a gap. Stock exchanges are not available for others. Let me make that happen. It existed and grew. So what is the gap I should find for BSE now? So we identified it as the following: product gap, process gap, service gap, and last but not the least, attitude gap. Product gap was fulfilled by bringing in Sensex derivatives to start with, and many more have come after that. Process gap, change everything. Put a TAT, make people responsible, follow it up. Tell the brokers that you have anything, call me directly. 350 brokers I personally met in their offices in the first 3 months across the country. No Saturday, no Sunday, no night, no evening. Give them the number. Any problem, please call me. I'm here to make the process better. That gets into the surveys. Attitude. The bigger exchange has become so big and it has become a monopoly, because of which arrogance was imminent, which was the main reason why in 2014 I resigned that job and joined Bank of America. So what should I come across as? Instead of telling I am a first line regulator, hey, set. Instead of that, if I like to change the tone and say, I exist because of you. If you don't trade, I'm not going to exist. So the first meeting in Calcutta when I addressed it to my brokers, typically I address most of the meetings in Hindi because that makes you sort of relate to people. I said, आप सब लोग हमारा अन्नदाता है, इसलिए हमें आप ये हुक्म फरमाइएगा कि आपको जो सेवा हम कर सकें जिसकी वजह से आप हमारे पास आके और ट्रेडिंग करेंगे. When I said this, the first row, many of the brokers had tears in their eyes. They said, this is the first time any exchange CEO comes and tells, आप हमारा अन्नदाता हो. That is where the attitude got set. The organization has been told, you have to treat your brokers as not as if you are service provider. आप सेवादायक नहीं हो, आप सेवक हो. इसमें बहुत फर्क है. अगर अपने आप को आप सेवक महसूस करोगे, जो सेवा आप देते हो उसमें अपनापन है. When you show अपनापन, market response, then everything else follow.
So ironically, the next question I was going to ask was that the number of people who enter financial markets every year, what's the difference between the people who succeed and what's the key fundamental value or attitude difference between the people who succeed and who don't?
Why only in financial markets? In every aspect, multiple people try. Do they all succeed? In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatinam api siddhanam kaschit mam vedi tatvatah. Assume the goal is understanding divinity as his wares. That is one pursuit. Making money is one pursuit. Gaining knowledge is one pursuit. Understanding divinity as his wares, that is the pursuit. Lord Krishna says that Manushyanam Sahasreshu, in thousands and thousands of men, all do not find merit in trying for this. Some thousands try. And some of them think that they have succeeded also. Thousands and thousands try. Hundreds feel that they have succeeded. Then he puts the caveat. Yatinam api siddhanam. People who tried and also think that they have succeeded. Kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Only few actually understand me as is, where is. So this is true for every walk of life. So your question will be read by me as, what is the difference between a success and not a success? I will not call him a failure. Well, passion for perfection and hunger for knowledge. These are the only two things which differentiate whether you are going to be a success or not so. If you have passion for perfection, success is not measured by whether others call you a success. It gets measured by the self-satisfaction that you derive. And it will be immense. That's my experience.
So now as we are talking about the digital transformation, it's impossible for me not to ask a question related to AI. So how is different AI defense, renewables, the market usually gets impacted about every little things happening very quickly. So then how can you personally tell the difference between a real long decade structural shift and just the market hype?
You yourself gave the answer. There will be a lot of hypes. If you are a person who is going to go along with the hype, well, it is because that gentleman, that lady is having an iPhone, the latest model, you want to hold it. It is not worth it. You have a purpose served by it to you, you should take it. That's what makes the difference. So for people like us, you can have any amount of hype. You can say this is great, that is good. Yeah, it is good in its own way, but it doesn't suit me. Presume that I am going to be living in a village where the roads are muddy. Will you come and sell me a Mercedes Benz S-Class? And if I were to buy because it's a great car, am I an idiot or am I intelligent? Answer is obvious. Instead, I should be spending money in buying a tractor and some piece of land in the place where I am, right? Then I'll be an intelligent man. So there are a lot of gizmos that come through. What is that you need? What is your purpose? And with that end in mind, if you look at things, then you will spot what is going to be long-standing, what is not going to be long-standing.
So now what are the other aspects of market shifts that are happening which a lot of people are underestimating right now?
Quite a few shifts are happening. I'm not saying underestimating. It's all going to impact the market bigger in the coming years. That's what I will say. If I'm saying somebody is underestimating, I'm prejudging, right? Who am I to judge anybody? Earlier on, if FPIs withdraw from this country, or even if they think of withdrawing from the country, the index will go and take a nice nosedive. Not anymore. The domestic institutional investors, particularly mutual funds, they are able to take any shock, means any such shock in the market, and hold the fort. For all the drama that has happened, how much percentage by which Sensex has fallen? Some 9%. Earlier on, it would have hit the circuit. I'm not sure how many of you understand the term circuit. Multiple times in a day. No longer. The power of common man investing through mutual funds, the faith of common man in India's economic progress, that's one thing evident. Second, there are a lot of emergence of new asset classes. Unfortunately, India is stagnant and just still has only equity and equity derivatives to some extent and commodity derivatives even to a lesser extent. Interest rate, credit, these are all not products which we are talking about. It's a reality elsewhere. And you cannot have only one or two products in the market and think that you are running a big financial markets. That's another shift that is happening, which we need to be cognizant of. Small and medium enterprises. Lakhs and lakhs, millions and millions of college students come out of the year, graduating every year. Do you think all of them are going to get government job and big plush jobs? How many of them are employable? They all have a degree. Do they have skills? If you don't have skills, will you get a job? Even if you get a job, how long you will retain it? So, skill building is another area where the students should concentrate and people should concentrate. And many of them will become entrepreneurs. They'll start SMEs, small and medium enterprises. How do we bring them into the mainstream? Out of 6 crore SMEs, hardly 1,400 are listed. VC funding, unlisted stocks through which people are raising money. On and on. These are realities. How do we facilitate them? This is a changing paradigm where I guess all you people will be involved. People like us would have retired.
So, sir, now a lot of young students sitting here, including me, have heard of fancy terms like crypto or US stocks. How is that changing or how is that affecting the domestic market?
Yet to in a big way. US stocks are regulated for us through LRS. You can invest in it through authorized people. Crypto, I would only recommend two things. What is regulated, you trade. That's first thing. The second is a very philosophical statement. Understand what you trade, trade what you understand. If your neighbor buys a hair oil because she is having good hair, and if you buy a hair oil and you are like me, what use it is for you? Right? So trade what you understand and understand what you trade. That would be my advice.
Sir, in one of your recent interviews I just watched, you recently said that Indian markets are entering a new orbit. So, for a student in this hall, what would the market look like in the next 5-10 years?
I wish I can predict. Honestly, I don't. I have no capability. That's why make agility and adaptability as one of your qualities. Then know you are ever young. At 63 still I am young, I feel, as well as this area. Physically I am old, that is very evident. Mentally, please be agile and adaptable. 5 years down the line, notwithstanding all that, I feel the following, which I can tell with greater clarity. With the type of GDP growth rate that I am having in India, notwithstanding lot of headwinds that we are facing globally, because somebody wakes up one day on wrong side of the bed, or maybe one day he wakes up at the western side, he suddenly has a lot of thinking and then he announces a lot of stuff. Whether he is hallucinating, whether he is talking truth, God only knows. And that changing the economy. Notwithstanding all that, India has been very resilient. This resilience and this growth makes me feel next 5 years are going to be golden period of growth. And we have a government today which talks about 2047 Viksit Bharat, 30 trillion US dollars economy. Naturally, the market capitalization should be around 40 trillion US dollars at the time. Means more companies have to come, more capital has to be raised. More and more emerging technologies. I do not know how many of you are aware my capacity at this point of time in terms of order management. My order management capacity is 22 lakh order messages per second. Means what? 22 lakhs. 22 lakhs. Mind boggling? In a day, I can manage. Till recently, I used to say 1800 crores. It is 2000 crores now. Orders per day. Mind boggling. Think of it 5 years down the lane when financial literacy improves and more people come into the market. More and more mutual funds. Today, the SIPs are very high. What will be 5 years down the lane? With per capita increasing, GDP increasing, growth increasing, new investments coming in. What are all the skill sets that will be required? All finance company is becoming a fintech now. And every second day a new type of code and new things are coming up. In my young age, did we ever talk of Python? We talked of Python when we went to the zoos, right? Rust, Python, C++. Still Java is doing as if it's very young boy of the street. Skill sets. You talk of finance market in olden days. There's nothing called as finance. First of all, it was all accounts. Every one of us would have mugged debit what comes in, debit what goes out. Who looks at it anymore? That's all very small, already done. Today, if I see the facets of finance, fintech, in that peripheral systems, core systems, core banking is different from the peripheral banking. Customer relationship management, softwares, everywhere it becomes very useful. Oracles for managing SAT, that becomes another area of specialization. Surveillance, risk management for a clearing corporation, stock exchange is very different from what normally you will understand as risk management. Specialized courses in risk management. Insurance. Now you have separate classes of mutual funds for the elite and for the normal people. You call the elite ones with different name. Various facets. More complexities will emerge. Maybe, and I wish, more products should emerge. So 5 years down the lane, how markets will look, while I'll not be able to tell you what will be the index number and what will be the profitability. Certainly whatever I told looks at better reality.
So there's a concept over here you currently mentioned you have to, along with your degree, skills are very necessary. So right now, how much is the coding, how much understanding human psychology and coding and technology as a student over here, as engineers over here, gonna help us in our career in finance?
Well, generic question can be generically answered. Part of it I already answered. But if you were looking for specific ones, find out where your interests lie. And do you have a permanent generic area of interest is first thing you should see. Do you have a proper attention span? Because your generation is very different from our generation. In our generation, if we take something, we will go to the bottom of it. We will not leave it somewhere in between. We will leave all the other things. We may not eat, we may not sleep, we may not drink. We'll be just looking at that and getting deeper and deeper. Today, do you do that? Or in a millisecond, how many Instagram, how many LinkedIn, how many Twitter messages along with WhatsApp? Apart from that, if you are part of any other apps, I'm sure you understand what I mean. Those app messages, are you switching? Do you have a span? Please have a span. Find an area of interest. You specialize there. You feel CFA is your cup of tea, you should do. You feel that company secretaryship could be better for you because you are more into a regulatory type of mindset, you should do. Lot of regulations can be reduced to mundane things using technology. Regulatory compliance can be technologically managed. Surveillance, regulation, so company secretaries, CFA, lot of Udemy courses are coming in, free of cost or with pay. Simple things and writing programs are possible by doing those courses. Find your area of interest, pursue it. There what you should do? The two mantras. Hunger for knowledge, passion for perfection. You do that, that's what would be your career in your life. Don't try to tread the path treaded by somebody else. What is your path? Where does your heart lie? Where do you think you'll make a difference, not to your pocket, to the society? This may look very odd for this young crowd, but the truth is, life is nothing but an option. What is an option? At some point of time it will expire. And since you guys appear to be adept in trading, the theta value, that is the time value of the option, decays very fast towards expiry. Human life is same. There's a fixed tenure, at which point of time it has to expire. Theta decay is very high towards expiry. These are truth applicable to all of us. So, when the theta decay starts, will anybody, if they are conscious at the time, thinking, I should have made more money, I should have had more promotions, I should have traveled more countries, I should have met with more interesting people. Is that what you'll be thinking when the theta decay is going to conclude to its final point? Or should I have been a better human being? Should there be more people around me to shed tears when I depart? Should I have had a more meaningful life? Is there any one thing about which I can be feeling happy when I am going away? Which appears a reality? To me, the second appears to be a better reality. So sow the seeds of it today. Try to see where your heart lies, by pursuing which you will make money. You have to exist, and you have to make substantial money to substantially exist in a meaningful way. But what is that you are making as a difference to the society? Don't forget it. That should be very much in the back of your mind. At some point of time, without you knowing, the first objective of you making money will vanish. Because you have made enough. When you have money, money means nothing. When you don't have money, money means everything. When you cross that point where no longer money is going to dictate you, you will be a full-fledged person working only for your passion, which is going to help make change in the society. That satisfaction, no money can buy. So that's what would be my suggestion.
So now I think you are living full of, no matter how high someone gets or how much status you acquire, humility should always be there. So thank you so much. After hearing about all the guidance you have, I can surely say that whereas like the financial markets, the markets go up and down, the numbers go up and down, it's our knowledge that should be stay constant. So I hope everyone had a good time. So Mr. Ramamurthy, I hope you had a good time.